Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller, 27-year veteran of the comic book industry, now doing my own book on Indiegogo. Series I currently have up is a series of 3 books called The Meg, Six Gun Samurai, and Deal with the Devil. Do check those out if you have time. I do not ask for financial support for this program. This is a ministry. But if you do want to help me in my other endeavors, then by all means. Some schmutz on my laptop. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well. It is another beautiful, not rainy day in San Diego. And so let me refresh here. See who is popping in. I know there are a couple of videos that just premiered. And so there might be people in our community who are going to Ethan's and Zach's streams, but let me pause this. Mute. All right. Today's topic, Yale study proves liberals are racist. And this is coming from Yale, so you don't even have to take it with a grain of salt. But that'll be later on in the show. I do want to get through everything. Ethan said there are a lot of pros coming to auction tonight. Anyone new and notable? I do not have the list. I just know that Ethan wants us to be the high end auctioning on his channel, and so yeah, I guess mine is more of the flea market. Whatever. No, he has a lot more. He's got I mean, come on. I've got 5,400 subscribers. He's got 113, 114,000. So yeah, it's obviously it'll be a bigger deal over there, and it has been the last. Gosh, have we only done it on Ethan's once, or did we do it twice? I forget how long we've been doing these now. Anywho, let's say hi to everybody. 22 people watching now. If you can, please hit that share button as I am doing at this very moment. I'm sending this out to Twitterland to see if we can get some people in here while we are live streaming. Come on, take too long. Live right now. Come on in. And tweet. Alrighty, ready. So now I will go through, say hello to Schnick, whose message was automatically held for review, and now I want to see it. Oh, Democrats are the real racists. Hail horse crap theory. Schnick, if you're still here, this is a Yale study. Yale, known to be a very left-wing university, and it is point blank. It's a long-term study, and it absolutely proves that Democrats are the real racists. Who knew? But stick around. I'll read it in a little bit. Been saying it the whole time. Oh, Q Cubston, WK, what's up, guys? Dennis Baruch, sorry we'll miss you tonight, brother. Perkindo, received the original page from the Meg and the Venom you sent. Just haven't had a chance to post pics yet. All right, Perkindo. 1. Do fake bids increase on Ethan's? No, increase? No. Like, hey, that's why we set up the fail safes. You pay right away or it goes to the next bidder. That's just, we can work around trolls. Trolls don't bother us. Beowulf was just about to go to bed. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, man. Ryan's here. What's up? Happy Friday. Dee Dee, Mike, you need to put your PayPal link in the description. In here? No, I don't need to do that. I'm impressed Yale would actually publish it. I know. A little shocked. Actually, I think the article is from like October. Let me check. I think the article is kind of old, but like they didn't. Oh, it's from November. It's from November. They weird. I didn't see it on the news. Coffee. Yes, Gimp Writer. I do. I need this. So it's 12 p.m. here, and I'm literally just waking up, says Perkindo. Dee Dee, my PayPal. Yeah, I don't know what happened. There was some weird rigmarole with YouTube, and all of my preset stuff, links and comments and stuff in the descriptions vanished. So I don't know what's going on. They've only proved what we've known all along, Mike. This is true. Let's go to yesterday's program, as we are often like to do, and read the commentary. Bootsy says, not gonna lie, Lone Star looks really good. Love the daily page updates and have one copy in my hands. For those who don't know, this is a cover. This might be the prime, cover A for Lone Star 2. So enjoying my time working on that. I'll be done with that today. Not sure who I'm going to have color it yet, though. Super Crusader says, regarding climate change, very interesting theory you mentioned, but I'm still leaning towards the idea that the destruction of last days will be sudden and not the result of a gradual increase in climate instability. I know I wasn't professing that theory to be true. I was just kind of spitting it out there. Quote, when the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in Noah's day. In those days before the flood, the people were enjoying banquets and parties and weddings right up to the time Noah entered his boat. Is this like the contemporary English version or something? People didn't realize what was going on until the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. 2 men will be working together in the field. One will be taken, the other left. 2 women will be grinding flour at the mill. One will be taken, the other left. So you too must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. Understand this. If a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would keep watch and not permit his house to be broken into. You also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. If climate change was going to be an issue of any significance, and considering that life going as usual is how Jesus describes the condition of the world before his return, then I think it's reasonable to assume that God put measures in place to negate the effects of climate change. I just don't think there's any significant climate change anyways. Any more than the natural cycle of Earth has gone through in the past. Now, it could be really rough times for Christians in those days if Christ's return is post-tribulation, but not because of a weather catastrophe. And if you're one of the people not being persecuted, you still wouldn't be partying down and thinking about getting hitched if the climate was stomping humanity to the brink of extinction and it was essentially Mad Max times outside your door. Anyway, it's fun to think about, but I'm kind of a dummy, so what do I know? Smiley face. What do you think? Hey, you ended with a question, Super Crusader. Awesome. Usually it's just comments. What do I think? Well, you do bring up the post-tribulation thing. Okay. 2 men will be working together in the field. One will be taking the other left. This is referring to the rapture. It seems pretty clear. 2 women will be grinding flour at the mill. One will be taking the other left. So you too must keep watch, for you don't know what day your Lord is coming. Taken together, this seems to mean, and I honestly, I'm still unconvinced to any degree when the tribulation takes place. But this indicates to me describing the rapture and then saying the day your Lord is coming, right? You must always be ready, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. When the Son of Man comes, he will rapture the church. That is how that scripture reads to me, just in plain English. Christ doesn't return twice. All right, Christ has one return. So if that reading is accurate to what it seems to be understanding, that does seem like a post-tribulation rapture, because Christ returns at the end of the tribulation. He doesn't return before the tribulation, does he? So yeah, Edwin has kind of pushed me towards that belief, but I still think there are people who studied it far more than I have that do not agree. So I am not going to take a position. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I'll just dig in and I'll become so convinced. But at this point, I'm a hope tribulationist. Prophecy can only be read in hindsight, says Joseph Meager. Well, it can be read. It cannot be perfectly understood, I think, until hindsight. So I agree with you in a sense. With these blues, no one knows who will show. Prophecies have a history of coming true in ways not quite the faithful imagine. Like when the Messiah himself came. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because, there were people that were they wanted Christ to return, or not return, Christ. They wanted Messiah to show up and overthrow the Romans. That was how they thought the prophecies read, but they did not. Lightning fan. All right, let me pop this chat out, and let's talk about this for a bit. Prophecy. Do you guys have any questions on prophecy that I might be able to tackle? Edwin Boyette is here. Aloha, Edwin. Alita says $1,000 confirmed. I don't know what you're talking about. Hugh asks, is the auctions against terms of service for YouTube? They're not getting a cut. Seems like our enemies would try something. I don't know. I haven't seen any terms of service that contradict auctions, but I haven't read the terms of service either. So, alt-right are racist too. The alt-right are racist too. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not arguing that. But they're quite open about it, and they don't pretend to be high-minded and I only want what's best for those ignorant savages. That's the kind of racism that comes from the left. Oh, let me help those poor ignorant savages to be better under my graces. Kiss my ring. That's liberal racism. But don't try to hide it like leftist racists. Oh, I could have just read the rest of your comment. The alt-right and radical left belong together. Truth. Where's that guy at? He's asleep. Trying to do this before the kids wake up. They only proved what we've known all along. Okay, we'll find it. Yeah, I could. Dee, here. My PayPal address is this: orders@abacuscomics.com. If you just want to use that for some reason. Withheld, I'm leaving school. They always project. Geek out loud. It's because the identity politics of the left have them constantly talking about race, which makes them judge people on race. Wow, Mike, beautiful cover. Oh, are you talking about? Oh, my cover. No, I'm not. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to sell my Lone Star covers. That's not to say there may not be a Lone Star cover available on the auction tonight. Our friend young Matthew Weldon is doing a cover for me, and it's gorgeous. I showed a little sneak peek of it on Twitter, but actually, yeah, you know what? I can show it to you guys right now if you want to see. Where's Weldon? Boop. Here we go. All right, this is not completed. He's almost done. How do I zoom this out? Well, I guess I can't. All right, let me just share this. I know this is not cross-examinations talk, but hey, Matthew's a Christian brother, so sneak peek for you folks. Look at this. Gorgeous. I love Matt's art. Love it. So that's what Matt's got going on. He's going to finish that up. I'm sure he'll put the flag on Lone Star's sleeve where it belongs. And I know that the eagle on his chest is way bigger than I do it, but I think it looks cool that way too. So super stoked, man. Super stoked. So this will be an alt cover, maybe cover B or C. I don't know. I don't know how many covers I want to do. But it's beautiful. It's glorious. And I think it's entirely possible that Matthew may be auctioning that tonight. Let's see what your guys' immediate reactions are. Lone Star 2 variant cover. Yes, Dennis Bruch. Dennis is about to cancel his evening plan, so he can be on this auction. That is really nice. Very nice. Sweet. Cover X. Yeah, because then I also have I've got John Malin doing an alternate cover as well. Gosh darn it, I don't know how many I'm going to end up doing here. And then I have Elliot Fernandez doing the crossover cover. But that'll be for the Cat Spanker, the Ash Can. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, everyone loves the Matt Weldon cover. Nice, but the face profile is a little feminine. Will there be a Lone Star cover that features Ben Shapiro? No, but he is in the book. He is in the book. All right. Connecting covers. No, not maybe for the third one. That might be cool. All right, where are we at time-wise? Probably like 15 minutes in, right? 19 minutes in. Okay. 19 minutes. Let's get back to the questions. Questions. Read Matthew 24:29 to 31. It's pretty clear about a post-tribulation rapture. Let's go. Let's go. Let's find a show. Let's doodly do and doodly do. Oops. Matthew. It's true. Matthew, 24, 29. 24, 29. Boop. Matthew 24, 29. And why don't I screen share this since it is the word we're getting into? Let's start with 25. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out. Wow. Behold, he is in the desert, Muhammad. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, John Smith. Believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass? Oh, carcass. Sorry. Wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Yeah, that seems pretty solid. That does seem pretty solid. I do need to go back and kind of get into the arguments on the other side to see how they argue against that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that that does move. It moves me towards that goalpost for absolute certain. But again, there are people who study it for so long who disagree. So I don't understand. Yeah, I just need a greater understanding. I don't want to pretend that I'm cocksure about something that other people have spent decades studying and still disagree on. Am I still screen sharing? Oh. Oh, well, why don't we get into this? Let's do a little bit of study on a couple of passages that just totally contradict that anyone should be racist. So let's start up here. Let's start with 8. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not to one another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all, and in all. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against thee, even as Christ forgave you, do also do ye. So the context here, because this is the highlighted section, it does not stand alone. This is the context. Let me rephrase that for what we're talking about. In which also ye walked sometime. You may have been a racist. You may have considered people of other ethnicities lower than you, less intelligent than you, whatever. I'm not saying there are not genetic differences. there are clearly genetic differences, but that does not make one group, I don't even like the word race, that does not make one group higher or lesser than anyone. And if you think like that, if you thought like that, when you became a Christian, when you put on that new person, you put that away, right? You put that away and have put on the new man. When you put on your new man, you put away all of those bad habits that you may have been taught by your racist father, by your racist grandfather, by whomever, which is renewed knowledge and after the image of him that created you, where there is neither Greek nor Jew. Which at the time, Greek and Jew in Judaism, and this is, I think, probably who he's speaking to, in Judaism, they looked down on the Greeks. They looked down on the Gentiles. They would not eat with them. They would not hang out with them, right? They might deal with them in business, but they viewed the Gentiles as a lesser class. That was the racism of the biblical context, right? No circumcision nor uncircumcision, same thing. Barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free. Not slave nor master. Not black or white, or yellow or red, or green, purple, blue, or orange. Christ is all and in all. If you are a believer in Christ and you hold thoughts of racism, judgmental concepts about people of different skin colors or locations or backgrounds, you have to put those thoughts away. You have to reject those thoughts in order to adhere to your new self in Christ. Because under Christ, we are all, every one of us, equal. This is repeated. That was Colossians 3:11. This is repeated in Galatians. But the scripture hath concluded all under sin, that the premise by faith of Jesus Christ might be given to them that believe. But before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith. But after the faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster. For ye are all the children of God by faith in Christ Jesus. We are all equally the children of God. There's only one who is above us, and that is Christ. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. There, again, is neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And if ye be Christ, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. So, those are the vital scriptures I wanted to share before, because I do want to preface this. The closer you are to God, I believe the closer you are to understanding that we are all equal under God. Right? And I hope people can understand that. So let's go to what is it that this long-term Yale study has figured out about liberals who tend to be, oddly enough, more against God, or at least leftists. I hate the word liberals because I'm a liberal. I'm a classical liberal by the definition of classical liberalism. What this should say is white leftists, because that's who they really mean when they say liberals. They change the language. But anyways, a new study suggests that white Americans who hold liberal, leftist, socio-political views, socialist views, use language that makes them appear less competent in an effort to get along with racial minorities. Weird. Racial bias can put people of color at a disadvantage when interviewing for a job, buying a house, or interacting with the police. New research suggests that bias may also shape daily interactions between racial minorities and white people, even those whites who tend to be less biased. This is very interesting. I can tell this part here. Usually when you're starting a report or a essay of some sort, you start with a what's the word? It's sort of like a summation, but the summation comes at the end. But it's the same thing, right? You start with the premise, right? You start with the premise, you end with a summation. And then the body of the text is to prove the premise, and then the summation concludes the proving of the premise. This first sentence has nothing to do with either the premise or the proof or the summation. It's just put out there to try and mollycoddle people, to like say, hey, look, we get it. This is going to be really bad. This is going to deliver some really bad information about leftists and how they treat minorities. But let's just think about how normal everyday racists, when interviewing for jobs or buying a house or interacting with the police do. It's okay, so let's just start with sentence 2. New research suggests that bias may also shape the daily interactions between racial minorities and white people, even those whites who tend to be less biased? No. You can't tend to be less biased and have research that shows that you are biased. No. This should say, new research suggests that bias may also shape the daily interactions between racial minorities and white people, even or especially those who pretend to be less biased. That's how that should read if you're accurate. According to new research by Sidney Dupree, assistant professor of organizational behavior at YALE SOM, white liberals, white leftists, tend to downplay their own verbal competence, tend to talk down in exchanges with racial minorities. They dumb themselves down to talk to colored folk. What do you call that? Racist? Compared to how other white Americans act in such exchanges, the study is scheduled for publication in Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. While many previous studies have examined how people who hold racial bias behave in multiracial settings, few have studied how whites who are more well-intentioned, that's your bias getting in there. You're not well-intentioned, okay? You are... George Bush put it very well. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations. You think brown people are dumb. And so you talk down to them to try to get along with them. That's racist, people. That is racist. The more well-intentioned interact with people of other races. Quote, there's less work that explores how the, again, well-intentioned whites try to get along with racial minorities, Dupree says. We wanted to know their strategies for increasing connections between members of different social groups and how effective these strategies are. Talk about putting lipstick on a pig. Holy cow. Their study objectively proves that leftists are racist and think that brown people are dumb. and they're trying to make it all about good intentions and what was it? Less biased. No. Face the facts. It's racism. Dupree and her co-author Susan Fisk of Princeton University began by analyzing the words used in campaign speeches delivered by Democratic and Republican presidential candidates to different audiences over the years. They scanned 74 speeches delivered by white candidates over a 25-year period. This is not new. This is a 25-year study, more or less. Studying 25 years of behavior. So this spans how many? 25 years? 3 or 4 presidents. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. So that has nothing to do with it. Approximately half were addressed to mostly minority studies audiences at Hispanic small business roundtable discussions or Black church, for example, then paired each speech delivered to mostly minority audience with comparable speech delivery at a mostly white audience. At a mostly white church or university, for example, the researchers analyzed the text of these speeches for 2 measures: words related to competence, that is, words about ability or status, such as assertive or competitive, and words related to warmth, that is, words about friendliness, such as supportive and compassionate. Warmth related to intentions towards others, and competence related to the ability to carry out those intentions, are 2 fundamental dimensions of how we see others and portray ourselves in social interactions. Stereotypical portrayals of Black Americans generally show them as being less competent than their white counterparts, but not necessarily less friendly or warm, Dupree explains. I'm not sure what that has to do with the topic either. But the team found that Democratic candidates used fewer competence-related words in speeches delivered to mostly minority audiences than they did in speeches delivered to mostly white audiences. Keep in mind, almost always, these speeches are written in advance. They purposefully dumbed down their speeches for brown people. Let that sink in. You Democrats, you leftists, you socialists, you're dumbing down your speeches because you don't think brown people are smart enough to understand you. You're racist. You are. Let it sink in. Soak it up. The difference wasn't statistically significant in speeches by Republican candidates. What does that mean? Though it was harder to find speeches from Republicans delivered to minority audiences. You just had to throw that in. Such crap. That means that Republicans treat white and brown and Black people the same. What? How weird is that? There was no difference in Democrats or Republicans' usage of the words related to warmth. It was really surprising to see that for nearly 3 decades, Democratic presidential candidates have been engaging in this predicted behavior. Meaning that essentially you can expect it. You can expect Democrats, liberals, leftists, socialists, put them all in a basket together. Let's call them the basket of racists. Because you can predict it. It is predictable behavior. They will dumb down their language for y'all Black folk. I don't feel no ways tired. I quote and mimic Hillary Clinton at a Black folk event. Because, oh my gosh, how freaking racist is she? The team found that Democratic candidates used fewer competence-related words in speeches delivered to mostly minority audiences than they did in speeches delivered to mostly white audiences. The difference wasn't statistically significant in speeches by Republican candidates, though it was harder to find speeches, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I'm just repeating myself. Sorry. With this preliminary evidence in hand, the researchers set out to further test their ideas, which means they were looking for evidence that this wasn't ubiquitous among Democrats. Sorry, that failed. They designed a series of experiments in which white participants were asked to respond to a hypothetical or presumed real interaction partner. Keep in mind, these are no longer people seeking higher office. These aren't Democrats and Republicans doing political speeches. These are regular run-of-the-mill Democrats and Republicans, leftists and conservatives. For half these participants, their partner was given a stereotypical white name such as Emily. For the other half, their partner was given a stereotypically black name such as Lakeisha. Participants were asked to select from a list of words for an email for their partner. For some studies, the email was for a work-related task. For others, this email was simply to introduce themselves. Each word had been previously scored on how warm or competent it appears. The word sad, for example, scored low for both warmth and competence. Melancholy, on the other hand, scored high for competence and low on warmth. Participant also completed a variety of measures that assessed how liberal, leftist, socialist they were. The researchers found that liberal individuals, leftist individuals, were less likely to use words that would make them appear highly competent when the person they were addressing was presumed to be black rather than white. That's your run-of-the-mill left Democrat socialist. No significant differences were seen in the word selection of conservatives. That means every average conservative. I hope there are leftists listening. I really do. Because this should be a bucket of cold water over your heads. If you're the people out there banging the drum that conservatives are the racists, look in the mirror, because that's where the racist is. It was kind of an unpleasant surprise to see this subtle but persistent effect, Dupree says. Even here we go again, even if it's ultimately well-intentioned, it could still be seen as patronizing. Okay, sure, it's well-intentioned and could just be seen as patronizing. No, it is objectively patronizing. They are not using real words. These leftists are dumbing it down. I'm going to drill it into your head. They dumb down their speech because they think black people are stupid. They won't admit it, but they do. There's no well-intentioned racism. Sorry. Dupree and Fisk suspect that the behavior stems from a liberal person's desire to connect with other races. One possible reason for the competence downshift, that's almost saying dumbing down. Almost. They almost got it. As the authors describe it, is that regardless of race, people that tend to downplay their competence when they want to appear likable and friendly. But it's also possible that this is happening because people are using common stereotypes in an effort to get along. In other words, why can't they just say it? You know why they can't say it? Because this report proves what they don't want proven. So they have to massage every word in the report to try to make it sound better. So what they're saying, because people are using common stereotypes, they think brown people dumb. That's it. That is it. And I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself, but they keep trying to bury the lead here. And Initial data from follow-up studies. See, they kept doing the studies. Suggest that describing a black person as highly intelligent, thus reversing the stereotype. Like when Joe Biden said that Obama was a clean, well-spoken black guy. Because, thus reversing the stereotype, or as already highly motivated to get along with whites, thus removing the need to prove goodwill, can reduce the likelihood that a person will dumb down their speech in interactions with the black person. Now Dupree is working to understand how these behaviors play out in real-world organizations. Oh, can you understand it? You can't even understand what your own study says. For example, whether medical professionals engage in this behavior when interacting with minority patients, blah, 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 blah. Quote, there's a lot of research focused on biased individuals and how holding bias, especially implicit bias, can influence social interactions, Dupree says, but that leaves a lot of people out. My hope is that this work will help include well-intentioned people who see themselves as allies, call them white knights, but who may be unwittingly contributing to group divides. Gee, you think? That's what every conservative has been saying since Obama has been trying to destroy race relations in this country. There is a broader need to include them in this conversation. Oh my gosh. Does this... is this a article and not agitprop? I don't know agitprop. I've heard the word. I don't know what agitprop is. Describe agitprop to me. That was the article from the Yale Insights. That's legitimately the posted Yale article. And then there's a bunch of other media outlets that went and massaged the lead, but I mean, this obviously comes as no surprise to conservatives who have been fighting against this ridiculous lie that we are the racists that leftists have been promulgating for time immemorial, right? It's agitative propaganda. No, that's legitimately the study from Yale on the Yale. Oh, and here's the best part. I didn't even show it. This was published by a black woman. Sydney H. Dupree, Assistant Professor of Organizational Behavior. Here, you want to... I don't know why this would make a difference. I just think it's kind of an odd addendum. This one... Anyways, yeah, for those looking for that, here, I'm gonna copy and paste this article into the description so that anyone who wants to grab this article and share it... I bet she's a Republican. No, if she was a Republican, she wouldn't have been using words to try to massage the whole article link. I mean, you could tell how much the writer, her, didn't want to admit the black and white truth of what the studies revealed, right? And the fact that they went in and kept studying deeper and deeper to try to see. I bet you they were really, really, really hoping that this was only Democratic politicians, but then they did a broader study and discovered that, yes, leftists of all stripes are racists. They are the white knight racists. I'll take care of you, you ignorant savage. That's what liberals really think in their heads. So what do you guys think about that? Perkindo says she did her best to maintain appearances. George Peter Gatza says, well, duh, marketing and advertising messages to the lowest common denominator since the creation of advertising. I don't think they got to the truth of the research. Jay Hamilton says, yeah, but it's so blatantly obvious that a lot of leftists are racist. Yeah, and I'm not claiming that every leftist is a racist. And most true liberals, I can't imagine really being racist, because a true liberal by today's definition is really more of a libertarian, and it's like, hey, go do your thing. Justin says conservatives treat people the same. Liberals wouldn't without different social strata. Yeah, and so it is ultimately it's projection, right? All these leftists constantly trying to say that conservatives are racist, which this study, the lead on this study should have been Yale's study proves conservatives aren't racist. That's what it should have been. Alt-right people, I don't believe they're conservative. I believe they are identity politics driven, and frankly, they're socialists, because if you go actually look at some of their actual political positions, they are socialists, white identitarians. I have no idea why they vote Republican. It's really weird. It's probably because of this agitprop. Look, I used your word. That the Republican Party is where racists belong. Obviously, as this Yale study of 25 years of political stuff has proven, conservatives, Republicans, which I am not, but I am a conservative, are the least racist people in America. So take that to the bank, people. Trying to incite race hatred. I'm going to restart my phone. This is weird. Mic drop. Conservatives treat people. Did you hear about the gangs database being deleted because they have too many minorities in them? No. Are you serious? Biden treated Obama like the, quote, magical black Negro. But yeah, isn't it funny? It's just what they said in the article. It's like, it's like, well, yeah, if you convince somebody that a black person is highly intelligent, then a liberal will speak to him like a normal person. Wait. Perkindo says, are they seriously trying to say that some types of racism are good or okay? No. Just well-intentioned. They're just well-intentioned people dumbing down their speech so that they can better communicate with the stupid black people. That's how liberals think. Oh, absolute projection. And you know what? It's probably that they, deep down inside, they know that about themselves. And so they hate that about themselves. And thus, they project that about themselves towards the people with whom they disagree on everything else, which is conservatives. But I do love that this study does absolutely and objectively prove that conservatives are the not racist ones. Right? That's pretty darn good. And conservatives, I've never met a conservative who doesn't reject alt-right racism. I have not. So, wow, just wow, unreal, says March Hare. Yeah, just look at voter ID. Democrats seem to think that black people are not capable of getting an ID, says Perkindo. I know. Have you seen that video? There is that video out there. So that's like the big Democrat thing, is like, voter IDs are racist because black people are too dumb to get IDs. And then somebody just goes around to like a black neighborhood. I think it was in Washington, D.C., and just interviewing black people. And they're like, so, sir, do you know where the DMV is? He's like, yeah, it's right down there on 16th Street. He's like, oh, did you have any trouble getting your driver's license or an ID? And like looking at him like, what are you talking about? And then they're like, do you know how to use the internet? I'm like, what the, how stupid do you think we are? It's like all of their arguments are projections of blacks are dumb. And that's why voter ID is racist. It is. Again, there you go. I suggest you guys reread that study. Again, it's in the description. Share it with every leftist friend that you have, and share it with your conservative friends to show them. Just show them. Look, it's proven. It's proven. Yeah, the Hillary Clinton talking to a black church congregation was so. I don't feel no waste, tard. How can she do that with a straight face? All right. Where are we at down here? Oh yeah, just quote, their bigotry is okay. I know, right? What's up, senpai? Oh my gosh, we've only got 4 minutes left. I can't believe how fast this one went. Don't care, otherwise it will change. Neil Adams tomorrow, taking it all back. Deskin says it's not really about black people getting IDs. It's about making it easier for illegals to vote. Yeah, I agree. Usage of ebonics doesn't make someone stupid, but if it's not your normal dialect, then it's soy. Yeah, that's the thing. It's ebonics. What is this? The 80s? We don't say ebonics anymore. That's racist. But no, it's that's a weird sort of a cultural norm. If you speak in black dialectic, which actually weirdly is actually an ancient, not ancient, but a centuries old Southern England dialectic. A lot of the contractions. If you read Thomas Sowell's, is it Black Rednecks and White Liberals? He goes into the history of how it is the black dialectic exists today, because it was originally how Southern English immigrants spoke, and then they were the ones that were relegated down to the South, and then when they bought slaves and taught their slaves English, they taught their slaves Southern England dialect. And somehow or another, the black culture in America, for a greater part, maintained that dialect, whereas the white culture, I don't know when exactly throughout history, but somehow or another, the white culture moved more into like what we would consider modern Southern talk, right? Yeah, he does this whole study on it. It's very, very interesting. But my greater point was, like, you can have two people saying the same thing, but one of them will be talking in a dialect that is considered abnormal, whether it be a Southern dialect, a black dialect, a Sarah Palin dialect, right? Just kind of, you could talk folksy, and if you're talking folksy, you could be saying things that are real intelligent, but for some reason in your brains, it just does. It's the same thing with in England. It's like if you start talking Cockney, right, and you start talking Cockney, people don't really think you know what you're talking about. But if you start speaking with a proper Cambridge accent, then everything you say is going to sound about 20 IQ points higher, right? And it doesn't, the IQ, the intelligence of the person doesn't change, but the perception, just based on the dialect they're speaking, does change. Makes sense? Get it? Got it? You know what's good? The rhymes I write. You wish you would. I'm always in training. My voice is not straining. People are always talking. I'm sick of complaining. Those who can pass military training should be permitted to vote. If you're willing to die for your country, you should have hillbilly equals short to the point. I hate British accent. Which British accent do you hate exactly, Hemmert? Do you hate the more Londony sort of a British accent? Actually, that's more of the Liverpool. That's more Liverpool than anything else. We should ask Matt Weldon. The confusing one is the gay dialect. Do they just get that when they come out of the closet? Do they always do that voice dynamo? That is so freaking true. Okay, granted, I know some people who are like somewhat effeminate, like in their younger years, but I know multiple gay guys who didn't gay until they came out of the closet. That affectation didn't exist. They didn't start doing this until, for some reason, they came out of the closet, and then suddenly their voices changed, and they had this whole new affectation. No, yeah, it's weird, right? Right? Why? Can I do my Christian Slater voice? I don't know. It's a pretty good question. Sometimes it just kind of sneaks up on you. And anyways, the pompous British accent is so annoying. I actually one of the guys in our community, he has a proper English, the Cambridge dialect, and it was taught him. He had a different dialect, but when you go to Cambridge or Oxford, they will train the ignorant dialect out of you, and then you will end up talking like Michael Fassbender. That is so fake. All the gays I know talk normal human. All right, guys. I think we're done here. I'm glad I did. I do want to reflect this back on Christ. We are all one under Christ, right? And I think that is why, because the preponderance of conservatives in America are religious, devoutly religious people. And we do understand that there is God and there is us. And there's not us, them, that. There's God and there's us. We are all equal under Christ, right? We are all equal under Christ. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We are all equal under Christ. So please do keep that in mind. Again, if you haven't got my books yet, themegcomic.com, I would appreciate the support there. The link is in the description for the article if you want to use that as ammo against anyone trying to claim that you, as a conservative and a religious person, are racist. Proof is in the pudding. Science. God bless, guys.